Maincast in the game, and of course, for outside of the game is us. Welcome everybody to the NAVI show match. That's right, we've got 2010, the Boomers, if you will, versus the 2020 NAVI, the champions, the Zoomers, I think they're calling them these days. I'm joined by Halvor. I'm joined by Jacob. You might know him as Vendetta and Pimp. My name being Trey Stunnis-Ranthus. We'll be here for 6 maps today. Of course, that's encompassing both 1.6 and CSGO. So, guys, how are we feeling about this? We walk right into it. What is kind of a one-of-a-kind, very one-off sort of situation, a one-off event almost.
I'm just looking super much forward to season 1.6 again. It's been a while since we've seen teams play on that server. It's been a while since we've seen any of the guys on the server as well. If there's one player that sticks out to me as well that we have to talk about, Markeloff coming back into playing Counter-Strike. He never really got to the level in CSGO that we expected him to. He never really got in with the AWP and made a career out of it. But it's going to be fun to see him play tonight. And maybe he can take on Simple, at least in 1.6.
Yeah, no, I think that's like the big storyline, because Markeloff is like previously the world's greatest 1.6 players. Like going through 2010. If he has just an inkling of that skill left in him, once we get started with this, that's going to be an absolute fireworks show to watch. And I think everybody's used to Simple just dominating everyone and everything these days. I think he might have a bit of a tough matchup ahead of them.
Well, I mean, let's look at it this way then, because it's obviously CS 1.6, the old guys, if you will, versus the guys that are currently on the front lines in CSGO. How much different are we looking at when it comes down to mechanics and it comes down to just raw skill and aim?
It's a good question. I actually just saw Senya. He was streaming a little bit of 1.6 just before the show match, so he was sitting there and warming up, and you could easily see that he's not at the same level he was when he was playing actively. I think no matter what, it's going to be interesting to see you posed the question as well. How many spam spots do they know? How many of those small gimmicky plays do they still have on the backbone, and how much of it is just pure randomness and pure skill, I guess, coming into the game.
So we know who NAVI 2020 is. We've got Boomich, we've got Flamie, Simple, Electronic, Perfecto. But when we look at the Boomers on this side of things, I think they need a more proper, a more appropriate introduction. Perhaps we go a little bit over their accolades. I know that's kind of your wheelhouse here, Halvor. So where do we want to start? I think maybe the year 2010. What do you think?
Yeah, actually, I'll do you one better. I'll start in December 2009, because that's when Kirknet disbanded, which was 3 of the players' previous team, Zeus, Starix, and Senya had been there, and then you had Markeloff and Edward coming up from their, I guess, venture into Hellraisers. Together, they created a team that became known as Arblet Ukraine for like a month or two. And then leading into 2010, that's the lineup that became NAVI. And before this, like, Ukraine obviously had skilled players. They've had solid Counter-Strike players for years, but they never really put themselves on the map. And NAVI went on an absolute tear through 2010 and also leading into 2011, just winning pretty much every big tournament you could imagine: ESWC, WCG, Intel Extreme Masters. Like, they put Ukraine on the map in terms of Counter-Strike.
Which is something to note on its own. When we talk about what they've accomplished in the past, we look at that year of 2010. This is a year where they accomplished 3. We'll dub them majors, because it's not really what they I mean, it's what they were, but it's not what they were referred to as back then. And we're talking about those IMs, those ESWCs, those WCGs, and they were the first team to do it within 1 calendar year. That's got to be a statement on its own, Jacob.
It is. And I remember back then actually watching. I was maybe 13, 14 years old. I was just starting to play Counter-Strike myself. And for whatever reason, NAVI constantly beat MTW in the finals in that period as well. Those were the 2 best teams in the world. And those Danish guys were considered by many to be the best team in the world, but they just couldn't beat NAVI. NAVI was just better every single time they went into the finals. So yeah, maybe they weren't labeled as majors back then, but it was the 2 best teams facing in finals all the time. And for whatever reason, the Ukrainians from NAVI always seemed to win out.
Yeah, how did that pan out? How did that become such an ordeal right there? And we're not going to talk about Danish Counter-Strike. This isn't Danish Counter-Strike Day, but ultimately, when we look at this, it's kind of been an evolution of the Ukrainian and Russian scene as a whole, Halvor.
Yeah. In many ways, it kind of kickstarted everything. Before this, all you really had to showcase if you were from the CIS region in terms of results would have been like your M19s back in the very, very early days of Counter-Strike, and then Virtus Pro with their Russian lineup. But this kind of sparked everything for Ukraine. They became obviously the household name for everyone in the region from that point on, and I think that's something you clearly see going further into CSGO as well. Navi's always been the team from Eastern Europe, and that's a lot of that is attributed to the success they found in 2010 and 11.
And it wasn't just on the back of, say, what the Not a Sincere organization did within Counter-Strike as well. I mean, this is not only a Counter-Strike organization. We're talking about what they've accomplished in Dota. And when you combine those two, you've got what is NAVI, what become one of the pillars of esports.
Yeah, powerhouse through and through.
It's a powerhouse, right? And it's an establishment of the team that you want to play for if you're from the CS region. If you're a new player to Counter-Strike, if you're coming into Global Offensive, or if you have any aspirations of becoming a pro player, you want to play for NAVI, and that's the team, right? Same goes on for Astralis in Denmark. So they also are the powerhouse.
Yeah, speaking of powerhouses, there's this one guy. He goes by the name of Eddie, or Edward, actually would be more appropriate to what we call him. Let's talk about Edward. Edward, are you there, buddy?
Hi, guys.
Long time
no see.
Yeah, I was going to say, you took the words right out of my mouth. Edward, how have you been, man? It's been a while.
Well, it's been a long time, almost over the year, I guess. Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
So I see that you've signed and you're playing with a new team. Can you talk to us a little bit about that before we jump into the nitty-gritty of today?
Well, I just started to play like a usual pro gamer. Like I had like not much practice before, like only a couple of weeks I play like professional. So let's see what it will be like. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I've decided to play because I want to know like if I still able to compete like the best. It's like you know, I need to be like proved to myself.
And how do you feel that's coming along, though, as a process? I mean, obviously, you're one of the most tenured players in Counter-Strike. How do you personally feel that's coming along?
Well, I'm getting more confident from day to day, so I'm getting in shape, and I feel pretty good.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
So,
oh, sorry. Go ahead, Howard.
yeah, no, I just kind of wanted to. You talked about confidence. How confident are you about your 1.6 abilities right now?
Yeah, guys, I haven't played 1.6 for age. I'm trying to remind myself how to play, and it's going pretty slow. I don't know.
Do you miss it? Do you miss 1.6?
Actually, this is the really brilliant game. I like it. Seriously, I didn't expect that I to play 1.6 nowadays, but I like. So it's nice.
So on the back of that, let's talk about who you're playing with and today in the show match. I mean, obviously this is a stacked lineup.
Some
You guys
no-names.
have some no-namers, some would say. We've actually had to go through a whole introduction process and reintroduce some of these names because for a long time we haven't seen these names in the server. Have you guys been practicing, and what have you been working on?
Well, it's a bit a shame to me to say that, but we had no practice at all.
Oh,
Because everyone like is a like grown man and has his own like schedule. I don't know. We just couldn't find a date to play.
All right.
So-
Well, do you think that that just by basically your fundamental skill in 1.6 is going to be enough to carry you through versus the youngsters now?
Yeah, we're gonna resurrect some strategies from the like back day. Yeah, we already discussed our like pistol round from the old times. Yeah,
I
from
do
the
love to hear
old
that.
good memory.
Oh, are we going to see the classic Edward pistol round from Tuscan once we get to the third map?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. You're gonna see it.
So I mean, we've seen your name, Edward. We've seen Zeus. You know, Senya is not too far behind all of that. Then there's Starix, who was he was the coach figure over there. Talk to me about Markeloff, though, because this is one that everybody kind of looks at and like, well, Markeloff, that looks very familiar. Who's Markeloff, Edward?
Well, actually, Markeloff, one of the best players I ever had in my team. And you know what? He suddenly disappeared like 2 years ago for some period of time. We really worried about him. We even planned to to have a trip to his own to his like hometown to visit him. But everything is fine now. He's up to date and he's ready to beat some asses.
I like that. I do actually like that a lot. I like the fact that you guys are, it's kind of engraved in your mind, your old strategies. I think that's a really cool aspect that we're going to have to keep our eyes on today. Nope, we zoomed him right on out of here. Thank you very much, Boomer. We will be catching up with Edward in no time, I'm sure of it. Thank you so much, of course. And Halvor and Jacob, you hear what the man has to say. How are you feeling about where Edward stands currently? Not within just being a professional player, but with what he said about the matchup today.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. I think, when it comes to 1.6, you gotta expect them to be the favorites. They still, got that experience when it comes to the small nitty-gritty stuff. They still got all the wall bangs. They still got all the stretch from the good old days. Very interesting point. He mentioned that Markeloff gone missing, right? I think that's the notion we all set back when Markeloff didn't play Counter-Strike Global Offensive anymore. First and foremost, he didn't come into the game as an AWP player. He decided to be more of a supportive element, doing a good job in that in Flipside in the early CSGO days. But then all of a sudden he disappeared, and now apparently he's back to kick some ass, Trace, and that's good. Good thing he didn't disappear fully.
Halvor, we talk about the olden days, so we might as well just talk a little bit about the maps at hand, and I think we can just give the complete rundown as to what maps are on the cards today. We're talking 6 of them. We're talking 1.6 to kick things off, and then we're going into CSGO. But we've got Train 1.6, Inferno 1.6, Tuscan 1.6. We'll go to Train CSGO, Inferno CSGO, and Dust 2 CSGO. So right off the top, I mean, if you are one of these Zoomers, do you think you're afraid?
I mean, there's going to be pretty significant changes to the maps, right? In my honest opinion, I think the 1.6 version of Train is a better version of the two maps. I think that's also going to be beneficial because the 1.6 guys are obviously going to be very familiar with how you position yourself. You can go under the trains now, all that kind of stuff. You have to deal with shadows in a much different manner. So I'm not sure if everybody's going to download Power Strip and just like pump up the brightness on their monitors, but there's a lot of changes. I also really, really love 1.6 Inferno. It's one of the best maps ever made, in my opinion. And I think, again, that's going to be an advantage. And Tuscan, obviously, is something that, these Zoomers have never really touched.
You're forgetting about Tuscan. Tuscan 1.6, without a doubt, the greatest map ever to be played in competitive.
It's fantastic.
Of any version. It's just such a great map. I miss Tuscan so much in CSGO, and I don't know why, but we never really had Tuscan in CSGO. No one really made a version that people accepted for whatever reason.
Or that was put out there for people to accept. But that's a totally different ball game altogether. I think you're onto something there. Tuscan, obviously you look at this map and that's historic. That's a map that has seen the ins and outs of Counter-Strike and has seen some of the best of the best play on it and show what they've got on it. Now we look at it today, we're going to get a real treat when we see these guys jump back into the server. Halvor, we just heard from Edward about a moment on Tuscan. Can you refresh our memory?
Yeah, so we need to turn back the time to 2010 and the Arblet Cup. Which again hosted the greatest teams in 1.6 for a fair bit of money at the time, and Edward probably has the most iconic 1.6 pistol round of all time on that very map, jumping down catwalk and basically just executing the entirety of Fnatic within the span of 3 seconds. Just absolutely craziness.
And the USP back then was so I don't know. I don't think the word's clunky, but you could definitely feel that headshot when it landed. Of course, after you shot it, you had to, you remove the silencer first of all, and then you run out of spawn. Jacob, what's your take on the USP now?
Now, I mean, it's still a great weapon. I think it's one of the most satisfying weapons to kill with. You can still feel the USP when you're hitting that headshot. Same with AK-47, but it's just a different vibe to it back then. And I think that moment for Edward on shot, that has to go down as one of the most iconic moments of Counter-Strike history, regardless of you being a CSGO fan or 1.6 for that matter.
Yeah, I don't think we can really sort of discriminate at that point. Now, Halvor, I'm kind of just catching on to what you were saying a second ago about downloading third-party software. Now, we don't exactly endorse Word.exe, but what is it that you mean when you say, like, okay, maybe the brightness and the contrast are significantly different between the two games?
Well, I mean, one thing, obviously, 1.6 is an older engine. It's an older games in general, so you don't really have that much ability to mess around with the settings in the same fashion. And brightness was one of the issues. Obviously, there's a max limit to brightness that you can set in the options in 1.6. And for certain spots, especially on train, if you sit underneath the trains and whatnot, it's really difficult to see with just like the default brightness. So people used to use a program called Power Strip to just artificially boost that brightness, so you actually had a chance to see models under trains. I'm not sure if they're that try hard like today, but who knows? They're competitors. So.
I mean, I don't know. Let's just run a theory here. Actually, I guess more of a moment that may never happen. Jacob, let's just say that you're up on the stage and you're reliving your glory days with Liquid, and you guys have some sort of show match set up. Would you go into that? Would you say, like, okay, yeah, this is something I need to prove that, hey, I still got it, I'm still here? Or you say, no, guys, it's fine, let's have fun, let's run around and get some headshots?
think you're walking into the game with the mentality that you're going to have fun. It's a show match. You're just going to enjoy it. You're going to talk to your teammates. But when you get on the server, when we get down to, a 13-13 scoreline and the game is actually close, I'm 100% sure that these guys' competitive nature is just going to shine out of them, right? They want to win the game. They want to show them the best. And sure thing, maybe they have the mentality that we're going to have some fun. But when you get on a server and you get into the nitty gritty of the games, and when you're at 15-15 or going into the OT or whatever we do here, then, the competitive nature of these players, the reason why they became so good in the first place is going to shine through. I have no doubt.
Yeah, and I think you're onto something right there. Perhaps you can kind of touch on this as well, Halvor. It's that idea that, we go into it with a fun mindset, but eventually there's that click, right? There's that click that, hey, oh man, look, I still have the movement that I had 10 years ago prior on train, and I'm zooming around the train yards. And I'm not talking about the new Navi. I'm not talking about the 2020 Navi that we're talking about. I'm thinking, you look at the old school Navi, you look at the boomers, if you will, and you say, man, can they replicate some of the movement that you would see on train back in the day?
I would imagine some of them still have it in them. Again, obviously, one of the aspects that's going to be really different for the new guys to get adjusted to is, I guess, what we called Russian jumping or Russian walking, if you want to call it that, which is basically
Russian walking. Interesting.
Yeah, which is a concept that became popularized in around 2008, where 2007, 2008, where you basically bind your duck key to the mouse wheel and you just spam the ever-living crap out of it. Which allowed you to basically maintain running movement speed, but not having footsteps. It also made the hitboxes of the models really funky. So that's something that people who aren't familiar with 1.6 are going to have a really hard time dealing with. And it also allows you to be pretty quick and nimble about how you actually maneuver around the map. So I think that's going to be a pretty big upside for the old boys.
Yeah, you look at that mechanic alone. You say like, okay, you're let's say you're back of Dust 2 and B site. You're playing behind the box on the platform, and you're literally just tapping crouch to peek over the box, right? That's not something you see entirely in the same method, the same madness as you would have in 1.6 as you do now. I mean, it's like the same mechanic, but it's a little bit different almost.
It's the same with the AWP as well, right? The way you can quickscope in 1.6, not really possible in CSGO. And Markeloff, coming into 1.6, sure, he may have gone missing for a few years, and sure, Edward may have, started a rescue team to figure out where he was in the world, but he still knows how to quickscope with the AWP. There's no doubt about it. So that whole aspect of having Simple going up against Markeloff in both versions of the game, but especially in 1.6, where the AWP works a little bit differently than it does today, I think that's going to be incredible fun to see.
Man, of all the things that 2020 has given us thus far, I'd have to say this is one of the nicer, the cooler ones, right?
Surely.
Absolutely.
And just looking at the battle that is Simple and Markeloff, and you can sit here and say whatever you will about, either of their careers. I don't know that there was ever a timeline where we get them both in the same server at the same time, which is, a storyline all on its own, Halvor.
Yeah, no, at least not in 1.6, right? That's definitely not something I would have expected, especially going into 2020. But I'm happy. I'm happy that's the case. It's one of the bright spots of 2020 so far on my end. I get to watch Simple and Markeloff duke it out in 1.6. So like the waves of nostalgia are just, smashing me to the bottom. But I'm loving it. I'm loving every minute of it.
You got to watch out when you get smashed to the bottom there, Halvor. That's one thing that we know for sure. Now, Jacob, when we look at this game, we look at this matchup overall, obviously we have to kind of say, well, I'm leaning one way or the other. But when you have 6 maps, there isn't really a clear victor, right? So just looking at it, when we look at the wheelhouse, it is, predictions or something along those lines. What are you feeling is going to come out more here? Are we saying that like these new guys, this new generation, that they're going to come out and they're just true gamers? They might have been playing PUBG. Maybe they're playing that Valorant game. Maybe they're just gamers overall. Whereas we just heard from Edward say that they're grown men. They've got other stuff to do. They need to take care of adult things.
You know what? It's actually a very good question, because I don't think you can pinpoint a clear favorite. I think coming into 1.6, you got to say that Navi 2010 are going to be the favorites, I guess. Markeloff's probably still going to be a better AWP player than Simple in that game. But that being said, Simple is currently the best player in CSGO, and Simple is also playing that game called Valorant once in a while. So he has showed, that he can play other games than just Counter-Strike Global Offensive. So I actually think that the 1.6 games potentially could be close. I have no idea what to expect from guys like Perfecto and Boomish. Don't even know if they played 1.6. They're still relatively new within the Counter-Strike world. So I expect the games to be close. And as I said before, as soon as some of those maps will get closer, as soon as we see some of those close clutch situations, I'm 100% sure that the competitive nature of these guys is going to come out and shine through. I don't think Edward is going to lay down and lose on purpose. He's gonna pull up that USP and do it dirty if he can.
Of course he's not going to lose on purpose. People don't do that in Counter-Strike. It's never happened before. It never will happen. We already know that, guys. We already know that that's just the way she goes. So we've introduced the Boomers. I don't know that we necessarily need to give a full-on introduction here of the Zoomers, but they're going to be known as NAVI 2020 as they stand. The current Not a Sincere lineup, that is the CSGO lineup, that has been sitting at HLTV.org's number 4 for a little bit of time, but moreover, the average age being 22.1. I don't even think there's a statistic for the other side of the table, or at least I couldn't find it.
No, I mean, they might be nearing our age in that sense on the average.
Whoa now.
Which is not necessarily the greatest thing, but it is kind of telling because obviously the Navi Zoomers edition, like 1.6 was stopped. Well, they stopped playing 1.6 professionally about 9 years ago. So if you take that average age and deduct 9 years, not a whole lot of them were professional players at that point. So they shouldn't have too much experience with what they're about to head into, which I think is rather fun. I think obviously like they're going to understand how the mechanics of the game work, but I think they're going to get caught by surprise a fair few times, which I'm looking forward to, showing that the old guard still knows best.
I just want to see how the let's say they call them the Zoomers are gonna throw the grenades as well, like 1.6.
Oh right, pixel grenades.
It's like you throw a grenade into the wall, you expect it to bounce back at you, but for whatever reason it flies 100 meters in front of you and kills a guy randomly. Right? It's 1.6 nades. It's again something completely different. So how the flashbang works, how the smokes works in 1.6, you can see through some of them. They're not as
like some 60, of them. What do you mean some of them?
All of them. Then it's just it's a different game and it's a different way to play Counter-Strike. And you know what I'm excited to see? I'm excited to see a Counter-Strike game where there's going to be no Molotovs to kill the vibe and the pace of the game. We can see a game now where people can play fast and don't have to stand there and wait for 7 or 8 seconds to just drink a Molotov. I miss that fast-paced Counter-Strike, and hopefully we get to see that today.
That's an interesting aspect right there. You're talking about slowing the game down on the back of Molotovs. And, we look at this game, we look at Train as the first the first map up to come through in 1.6. Not only we're going to talk about movement, not only are these grenades going to be flying, but I really want to kind of discuss the applicable purpose of what strats that Navi 2020 may have already and how that can be applied here. Are they just screwed, or what's the deal?
I'm going to go ahead with saying they're screwed. Because again, you don't really have open skyboxes in the same fashion as you do. And if you think about like how a standard round on Train looks like for a CSGO team, you're standing right outside a T-spawn chucking nades left and right, and then you go about your day. You can't do that anymore. So I don't know like if they're going to be able to smoke off lanes on Train, or if they're just literally just going to run out, DM it, and hope for the best.
Well, I mean, that brings up an interesting topic by itself, is the idea of faking, a take inside of, say, inner lower or something like that. It's faking inside versus faking outside versus faking in CSGO altogether. I mean, strategy is one thing, but that's almost an element that it kind of supersedes itself.
Yeah, definitely. And again, it's going to be interesting to see whether or not they're going to try to go for those fakes or whether they just go full deathmatch. I think if I were Navi 2020, I'd probably go in there and try to rely on the fact that aiming wise, still it's a different game. The recoil works differently, different guns, blah, 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 blah. But they still have the better aim, right? They still have the better players as of right now. So without them going for the DM style, I don't leave them many chances. If they want to get into a tactical nitty gritty game, as Helva said, there's just so many tricks, so many different aspects to playing 1.6 and CSGO, then grenades are going to work differently. All the wall bangs, all the dog walking or whatever it's called, the quick scope with AWP. There's so many different gimmicks in 1.6 that probably a lot of these Navi 2020 guys don't know about or don't know how to utilize or defend themselves against. So I would go full deathmatch and rely on the fact that you can aim better than some of those old guys over there.
Yeah,
is that the technical term, Halvor? Duck walking? Is that the technical term? I don't think that sounds like it might be a little off.
Yeah, I think like different nations have different names for it. Some of it dubbed it the East, well, basically the Easter glitch, because it was the Korean team Easter that kind of, I guess, really took it to the forefront, because they used it versus MYM, and I think it was WCG in 2008 or 7. But yeah, no, Russian jumping, duck walking, it has a lot of different names, but the concept's still the same.
Here, I guess here in the States, you think about duck walking as more of like a term applied to the medical field when you're, say, getting a physical or something, and it's just a totally different. You caught me off guard there, Jacob. I gotta admit, but something to look forward to here, and I think that mechanic is something that these 1.6 guys, the boomers, if you will, are going to be able to jump back into, like riding a bicycle almost. If you really think about it in a big picture way.
I think so. Like a couple of rounds, give him some time to warm up. I mean, Jacob already mentioned the fact that Senya had already been streaming 1.6, so he's probably gotten a little bit more of a feel for it. That plus the fact that Ever mentioned the fact that they're busting out 2010 strats. So these guys apparently remember all their strats from 2010, and they have that on the docket ready to go. I think things are looking good for them. Honestly, like I can kind of see a world where the old boys actually take 3 maps in 1.6.
Wow. That is a bold statement. Now, we're not going to dub it a prediction just yet, but that is a bold statement. Jacob, you don't seem troubled by it, but you've got that smirk about you, the one that I usually see on the desk and I thoroughly enjoy. So what's on your mind?
I mean, I agree. I think the 1.6 guys have a good shot at maybe not winning all the maps, but some of them in 1.6. It to me comes down to the grenades, right? If you're gonna be simple and you're gonna be one of the best aimers in the world, but you're constantly gonna be flashed, because they just know some flashes from back in the old days in 1.6. You can't really do anything. Same goes on with the AWP. I don't know like how exactly that dynamic is gonna work against Markeloff, but I think that Symbol will have a tough time, out AWPing Markeloff. You can't peek the same way as you do in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. So I wouldn't be surprised if the old guard is taking a map or 2 and maybe even all 3, but I expect them to be close and I expect it to be fun. And I really do hope that Navi 2020 is just going to go in there with no respect whatsoever, just try to out-aim those old guys with no aim. But then it comes into, the aim against the grenades, and that should be fun.
So interestingly enough, I'm going to go ahead and say that you're both going to go ahead and join the side of Navi 2010. Is that fair to say?
Boomers unite.
Straight up. Okay, well, look, we got to get into this game. We do have 2 commentators on our side here. We're going to be jumping into this first map. It's going to be DE_train 1.6. Hopefully no flashbangs find their way underneath the floor and blind everyone, because that would be cheating. We're going to be jumping into this game shortly, so we'll see you there.
Oh, yeah. I hope we will get some freaky flashbangs.
I do
Jason,
too.
how are you doing?
I'm actually unreasonably excited for this. I'm actually, back when I was competing in 1.6, I used to hate everyone who used the glitch flashbangs. I used to despise those people. There were a lot of people who tried to sneak it in. A lot of people did it successfully. I don't care. Screw it all. Throw all the glitch flashbangs in the world. Blind everyone in all parts of the map. Go crazy with it. I'm good. Today I don't care.
I can't wait either. I think it's going to be really exciting. We just spent some time talking while the analysts were talking on top as well, just about all of the potential madness that you could have forgot. I've got a question. Who's going to be the first one to forget to buy ammo?
Yeah, it's 100% going to be Flamie. I'll even I'll put a friendly like $10 bet with you if you want. It's going to be Flamie who's going to forget to buy like a magazine for the Deagle, and he's going to roll out there with 7 shots, and he's going to be running around with no ammunition. I guarantee it.
Throwing Flamie right under the bus. That's pretty heartless.
Who would you pick?
I don't know. It's a really good question, isn't it? I think a lot of options. Flamie though, he does have some bad luck every once in a while. I might be on board with that, but of course, the most absurd thing would be if it was one of the old timers that.
Yeah, if it was like Edward or Zeus, you'd have to kick him out of the server. I don't know. Yeah,
I was gonna say I've played 1.6 in like the modern age just for the fun of it, and I forgot to buy ammo. I just didn't even think about it. I was like, oh yeah. I'm out of spawn with my Deagle and 7 bullets. That's it.
Got to see those the Deagles take 1 shot and reload before they get into things. To screw with the Deagle glitch. Actually, I think that was fixed later on, wasn't it? I just still have it as a habit 20 years later because I'm a psychopath. What's the other one? The flashbangs. The flashbangs do not mess with like your hearing and your vision in terms of it getting blurry. It's just a white screen. You can still hear footsteps, so you can time op shots and you can time sprays much better.
Yeah,
there's a whole little skill gap there, so that's gonna be so sick to watch that as well. Smokes. It takes more than 1 smoke to cover a choke point. They're going to need to throw like 2, sometimes even 3. Choke points are going to be wider as well, so everything's crazy.
And the whole, I mean, they did mention this on the desk as well. But of course, the whole crouching under the trains on train as being like if it was possible in Global Offensive and you did that, you'd be so dead. But in 1.6, it's a super viable strategy. You're actually coming out at least some of the time ahead, especially if you know how to like, switch your model from side to side when people are shooting at you. Like that could really help out at the right time. Man, it's
Well, Halvard just put a good one in the chat as well, where it's which one of the Zoomers do you think is going to get like super confused and they get blown up through a wall by nades? Remember, you can nade stack like 3 nades into a corner of a wall, and it's going to kill them right through the wall. So someone's going to get wrecked by that, and someone's going to be massively depressed.
That's a good point. Part of me wishes that we were playing Aztec at some point. Remember that down on the river and just throw them up into the CT side.
Through the bridge room. I mean, I don't know. I'm just so excited. I know everyone's like super hyped and super pumped about Tuscan because apparently it's everyone's dream is to get that back in the game. I'm actually so excited to see Train. 1.6 Train is my favorite map in all of Counter-Strike history, through Source, through CSGO, and 1.6. I love the map. I'm so pumped for it.
Yeah.
Inferno is really cool as well, but Train is just by far the best.
I fully agree. Yeah, I that was sort of in the various teams that I played in, it always ended up being the home map for us for whatever reason. Just so much craziness that's going on. Like even the layout of Train. I guess we're gonna start to get into it maybe a little bit here, but you're gonna see it. It's just gonna be so much fun. Like the actual entrance into the yard, obviously being on the side of it instead of, as you could tell right now, down at the end. So I can't wait for it. I guess they're still doing warm up here, but it's gonna be crazy.
Yo, the wall banging as well. Remember, like these little Zoomers have no idea what's about to catch them through like 6 different walls in the game. I guarantee you, the nerd levels of guys like Senya, like Zeus, Markeloff, like Starix, these guys will all remember the spam spots on this map. So it's about to get real dirty.
Oh, Senya is joining us. That's it's all around excitement now. He actually, he went on to do a lot, I know, in the CIS region, right? It's just that because I think he does it all in Russian, like most of us don't know outside. But yeah, it's kind of cool. Like I just, it's so crazy to me because obviously Vendetta is just a human, encyclopedia basically, which is mental. If they didn't stop him, he could have kept talking about old, 1.6. This is the thing. Like you could probably, if you ask Vendetta about games, he'll correct you and say, no, that wasn't a 1.6 game, Anders. That was like that was a 1.3 game. So, you're just misremembering. So he could have kept doing that for a long time, I reckon. But isn't it crazy that a play like the one that Edward did on Tuscan, we still remember? Like, how is it possible for that to have been? And for a bunch of us, especially the boomers, that's like a childhood memory. That's like, oh yeah, I remember. Like, it's just wild that Counter-Strike has had this impact. So
I've got one as well on this map, where Electronic's running right now. The Sunman clutch, the shot heard around the world. We called it at the time.
Oh yeah.
When he, that has a crazy story to it, where like his keyboard had like broken and his diffuse key wasn't actually working. So out of frustration, he just got off the bomb and no scoped through the wall, and it went through both walls in that back hall and killed the player. And then he got back on the diffuse and magically his keyboard started working again. So I don't know. There's so many epic plays. If you go back, you think of the trip clutch at ESWC on this map in the lower bomb site, at the inner bomb site, a 1 versus 3 underneath the train. So man, there's so much history that goes into these maps, which is really cool. And conveniently, all the demos have been deleted and wiped out. So all we have now is our faded old man memories.
Yeah, that's a real crime, isn't it? That would be the only thing that could make 2020 good, is if someone found that hard drive, like, someone bought it at like a flea market and they were like, oh, what's on this hard drive? And it was like, oh, it's all the Godfrag demos. that would be something. No, there's just so much. There's still, I think, burnt into my mind whenever I think about this map. Like a couple of things that I really like that really sort of come to mind. I mean, one of them is watching Forest on the ladders on this map. Was truly just beautiful artwork. Like that's kind of been lost in Global Offensive to some extent, I think. Kogu as well. Kogu orbing on train was one of the things I remember I watched. I was like, this guy is so good. I want to watch it. And then no doubt as well, Markeloff with the orb on this one. And the orb in itself, I mean, the analysts touched on it, right? But that was one of the things that they were highlighting, is just how different that weapon works in this game. That's going to be fun to see.
How much do you think the skill of the Navi 2020 roster is actually going to convert over? You know, I mean, considering simple electronic, even Flamie, so these guys have some of like the craziest mechanical skill that we've seen. Like, yeah, they're going to get caught off guard by the spam, by the nades, by the way the flashbangs work. So many different aspects of 1.6, but in just pure shooting, you think they're going to be okay?
I don't know. It's a really good question. I expect it's going to feel really different. I think it might take like at least a couple of rounds, maybe like a half to really feel that adjustment. So I think there's going to be a little bit of a lead time before they start to catch up. And again, if they don't buy bullets, it's only going to matter, is it? So,
I am actually unreasonably excited to see somebody screw up in that manner. That's going to be so funny.
yeah, you want that to happen, don't you? I'm
Yep.
trying to think of what else. I mean, even just I guess just
Well,
navigating
even
my
the
menu.
maps, the way the maps are laid out and the way clutches are played, right? Especially
Yeah.
with spams being so good, man, you have to be a lot more peaky in 1.6, so you're not just sitting in a corner getting spammed. And I don't know if the CS:GO players are going to be up to it.
We're gonna find out hopefully sooner rather than later. Yeah. Shout out to all of you guys in the Twitch chat as well. We can read what you guys are saying, although there is a bit of a delay. So if we respond to anything, it's gonna be a while later, just so that you are well aware.
Yeah, and just so you're aware as well, there is obviously some tech issues with Perfecto joining the server, but they're working on it right now. So that's what the delay is. Don't worry, it's not Anders and I demanding in our contract that we get 10 minutes to talk for no good reason.
No, but now that we have it, we might as well enjoy it, right?
Yeah, might as well
do
take
that.
advantage.
Um,
Well, listen, I mean, I made a little joke on an awful joke on Twitter, really, but the old school style of, I mean, they mentioned the brightness of 1.6 and how you can change things. Just so,
Yeah.
I mean, remember like the controversy of using 16-bit smokes and 32-bit smokes and having to take screenshots on the map. Everyone, all 10 players meet in middle
Yeah.
and drop a bunch of smokes around you. Take a screenshot so everyone knows you're not using smoke sprites, all the classic ways, all the classic old school anti-cheats we had to go through.
That it was a different time, wasn't it? And at least towards the end, like in 1.6, right? There was like more of a, I'd say more of a standard, right, in terms of like what would be allowed on configs and server configs and all that. But I mean, if you go back earlier than that, like if you go to like 1.3 or something, it was the Wild West.
Oh,
in
the
terms of-
configuring, yeah.
yeah. People just having unreasonable advantages. I'll say this. I mean, I still think there's a big difference between being LAN and online in Global Offensive. But in 1.6, like I remember the first LAN I ever went to and played, and I was like, oh god, the weapons
completely
work
different game.
differently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is so different that I can't even really explain it. Like that in itself, I think is going to be, like I don't know. I guess it's good that it's not that different anymore. I mean, obviously we still want to play on LAN and all the rest of it, but it was such a noticeable difference. So that's something that's luckily we have less configuring issues and all the rest of it. But
Well, yeah, I mean, I mean, we're obviously not going to have those, and certainly that was cleaned up a little bit. But that's where the whole thing, where especially now we still have people being called onliners and everything like that. That's where the whole thing began. It wasn't really that you were an onliner; it's that you were a configure, and that meant that you just used all the crazy commands to make hitboxes like 4 times the size than they should be. So yeah, we've obviously gotten rid of that. It's a much cleaner game these days. I still do remember, however, the feeling of turning around a corner and then getting shot by someone and your body being pulled back into the open like 4 steps previously.
yeah,
That was depressing.
it wasn't a good feeling at all when people were interping. That was definitely not a good time. I mean, also worth of note, of course, the pistols in 1.6 is going to be way worse just overall.
Yes.
You might be used to those really powerful Glocks and USPs and all the rest of it. They're not going to do anything against the rifles in this unless you
in fact,
really
I imagine
hit well.
Yeah, I imagine we're going to see the T-sides on Pistorons buying a couple of USPs, as was the old strategy. Deagles will still be coming out in some of the eco rounds as well. Economy is going to be much bigger punish. You're going to see a lot more full-blown saves here in 1.6.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to think. Maybe we could get someone to reincarnate the TMP for a hot minute. That would be cool as well.
Oh, that'd be beautiful. Bring it all back.
Don't get enough of that. And I'm trying to think what else.
Well, I mean, this one's real old school, and I can't think of anyone who still does it. I still do it because, as I mentioned to you earlier, I am sort of my brain just doesn't fully work. I still do the deagle glitch, where you used to have the deagle glitch where the first magazine you shot with the deagle was all inaccurate, so you had to shoot 1 bullet and reload the deagle. I don't think we'll see anyone with that habit. Maybe one of the Senya or maybe Starix or something like that.
I mean, not for the same reason, but just another like fragment of history that's got stuck in my brain as well that I can't really unlearn. Is just buying Deagle Orb, but not for the Deagle as a sidearm, but for the idea
quick
of using
switch.
the quick switch between using like that's just in my brain as well. It just like it even feels wrong if you say like say the next word that pops into your mind. If you say AWP, it's like AWP Deagle. It's like it has to go together for some reason in my brain. So
yeah, there is something magical about that combination in 1.6. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, maybe it's the lack of animation on the quick switch that was so cool. I think it's honestly just K-Sharp having popularized that combo in the early days of Counter-Strike. I don't think you could ever get away from it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm assuming I'm just gonna assume everyone has been watching Frag or Die, but there is that clip in that from Dust 2 where he's like that like I remember that's where that's the thing we learned from Frag movies, right? So I remember seeing K Sharp do that. I thought, my God, like what did he just do? And then you just want to go you go practice, and that's how it worked out. So
I remember watching that game live. That K-Sharp versus IWA. That was the first match that Team 3D ever played. It was after they formed 3D after X3 got obliterated. That was their very first game.
And he was a little kid just playing.
Just young K-Sharp, not knowing he's going to be turned into a meme for going on 2 decades. One of the original Counter-Strike celebrities, him and Heaton and Potty, I guess.
It is a wild time, isn't it? Took a while before we got to see this version of Navi obviously come into the scene, but when they came in, right, like it was just an explosion. Like it was so wild that they just came out of nowhere, and boom,
and dominated. So, I mean, they had like
really dominated.
The first really incredible dominant year. This Navi, the old school Navi 2010 roster.
I'm seeing Boomich trying out the USP and not enjoying it.
Not liking what he sees.
He's like, where are these bullets going? How are they not doing anything else? Do we still have the HLTV scope, like the AWP scope problem? I don't know.
I would assume so, because I don't think that was ever fixed, right?
Yeah, so you might not be able to see when someone's scoping with the AWP, even though they are in their client, but it's possible that on HLTV it's not going to be showing the same thing. I could be wrong on that, but it's worth thinking about.
Here's the real problem, Anders, is with the way the HUD is set up, we can't see ammunition, so we won't know if somebody forgets to buy. We'll just have to see if they're running around pulling the trigger and nothing coming out. So we'll just have to keep our eyes peeled for that.
Yeah, we'll try and do some math, try and call it. I mean, the whole spectating experience is going to be wildly different as well. We don't have all the fancy tools that we have in Global Offensive. You have to sort of like swap around from one to the next. You can't just go from player 1 to player 7 in one button. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually wild to think. I don't know. This is going to be a good course of seeing how far we've come in all those regards as well. Just the lack of tools to actually spectate this version of Counter-Strike it's pretty crazy to think how many years we did without it. I don't know how we got by.
Yeah, it's a good question, isn't it? Like you would have thought that it would have been actually unwatchable, but people got by. The people managed it. So maybe we've just become a little bit complacent, although it is nice. I don't know. They obviously will never retroactively put it into 1.6, but it's fun when we have these matches that bring it back. We should do it more. It should be like a once a year kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. It'd be fun to get some of the old. I mean, because there's so many guys in the old guard that are still around. I know I wanted at one point to put together like an old North American show match with like the old 3D guys and maybe just like a hodgepodge group of like Pug team to go up against them in 1.6 and CS:GO. I think that would have been really fun. It would be cool to have it just like a special event. Kind of like the NHL, they do the Winter Classic where they play outdoors in outdoor skating rinks. It'd be fun.
Oh, so maybe do like a whole...
Make it a whole production, a whole thing.
A whole thing. Well, we've got some people that have been around on the production side, since forever. Take someone like Alchemist or Scoots for that matter. So those guys, they still know. They still probably have all the old playbooks for how to run that. I'm sure they do.
Well, we've got those guys are just nerds. We've got Perfecto inside the server now finally, and that means we're just waiting on Electronic to rejoin apparently, and then we'll get going. if you're in the chat, do not fear. This is supposed to start already. We've had a quick tech delay as the Zoomers are trying to figure out exactly how to open 1.6 and get that working. So we're just chilling for the moment.
Chilling. Wait, who are you looking forward the most to watch from the old lineup? Let's say, who's your man to be spotting for?
Edward, probably, if I'm honest.
Pistols for what?
Just in general, I always liked Edward as a player. I always thought he was really, really solid. And if it probably wasn't for Markeloff being one of the best players, during his career, I think Edward probably would have got a little bit more love sent his way. But I don't know. I'm really excited to see Edward. I'm obviously, you can't not say Markeloff on some extent, right? With the AWP, although I'm gonna leave that one, the Markeloff fan clubbing, over to you. I know that's you've been looking forward to that since we signed on to do this event.
Yeah, that was a big thing for me for sure. Yeah, I'm still waiting for the Markeloff to come back and play Global Offensive again and become the best.
Don't hold your breath, mate. Don't hold your breath too long.
Never giving that up. But yeah, I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. But obviously, it's such an interesting mix, because if you look at the time when they quit, you would think someone like Edward, but even Zeus went on to do amazing things, and so some of them have played for a while. Yeah, now we do have the knife round ready. So again, we do apologize for the delay, but it's old tech. We'll get it back up and running, and here we are. Train coming up first in this best of 3 in Counter-Strike 1.6. It's NAVI 2020 versus NAVI 2010. What a great concept. So big welcome, everyone. And let's see who wins this knife round. They can even figure it out.
Yeah, some of the changes, in case you never actually got a chance to watch, the 1.6 version. Obviously, you can crawl underneath the trains. That's going to be a huge thing. They touched on that at the desk. The positioning of the bomb train is way, way back. It's not out in the open in the middle of the outer yard as we normally see it in CSGO. Heaven has swapped sides. Heaven is now up against the opposite wall of where we see the the windows and the ladder in CSGO version as well. A lot of differences that we'll see. There's a flatbed train on the inner bomb site. I'm so jacked. I'm so excited for this. I didn't even watch the knife round. I was so caught up in nostalgia.
Don't even worry about it. Oh yeah, head stabs. Vendetta reminding us that that's a thing as well. Yeah. Oh man, what a good time this is going to be. So yeah. It looks like it's going to be NAVI 2020 on the CT side. So,
LO3 boys.
Yeah, here we go. And it should be, if everything is still as it was back in the day, right? It should be a fairly CT-sided map. Although I don't know if we can really count on that. But I look forward to finding out.
Yeah, let's not count on the sides being the same. But you're right. Back in the day, this was usually like a 12-3, 13-2, 11-4 half. Once you started getting 5 rounds on your T side, you were feeling pretty happy. So here we go. Pistol round is live. NAVI 2010 on the CT side. The Zoomers on the CT side. The Boomers on attack.
Oh yeah. See, Perfecto. Just a little bit of an engagement. He's going to try and fall back and play it very similarly. So just hanging around the train there. Not going to go too much. It looks like they are really staying away from Ivy. If I could tell on the minimap there, it looks like Flamie is the one who's actually checking that out and looking quite far forward. So this should be interesting. It looks like they're a little bit locked in right now, NAVI 2010 here. All outside of the B bomb site.
They're not locked in, Anders. They're doing exactly what they wanted to do. Simple and Perfecto to defend that inner bomb site. Here comes the hit. They are streaming into the bomb train. Perfecto playing at the back of the flatbed. He goes down to the Glock of Zeus. And you've got Starix able to watch the flank as well. And this is all going so good. Clinical for the Boomers.
Yeah, they're actually doing a really fine job. 24 seconds left, and a bit of an awkward fight. It's a good shot for Boomich, though, and he'll get Senia as well. So suddenly, it's looking at a little bit more doable here. A 2-on-2 still on a bomb plant. It is an NAVI matchup after all, so you could expect that the slot would land a little bit low here. I mean, you've got 2 NAVI teams, one of them led by the original in Zeus, and trying to see if they can make that work. It's going to be the T side to win as Edward will pick up the kill. It is a pistol round after all. And I get they did have the bomb down. It was just the countdown that was going on at the same time. So my mistake. That's a great way to get started, though.
Yeah, that's a fantastic way to get started. It's a classic, and obviously the peaks coming in as well. That's another thing we can talk about. The fakes to planting, right? There's not really a sound to signify when you start planting or defusing. So you got to be much more bold than when you're peeking during those situations.
Yeah, that even threw me off guard. I got faked out by it. Good start. Simple. Gonna win with the Deagle. Deagle is still a pretty good pistol in this. Like, don't underestimate it. I say pretty good. It's very good.
It was the Russians, I believe, that even started to prove that to everyone when full blown ecos were coming in. Galils are solid as well. So is the FAMAS, as I believe we'll be seeing later on at some point during this game. The burst fire on the FAMAS is a thing of beauty.
Oh, you're right. I completely forgot about the FAMAS.
Yeah, don't forget about the FAMAS, baby.
And we got an MP5 in play on Senia, so there's just a lot to look forward to. Some wild spray coming out. He's not really connecting with anyone just yet, and they did lose Boomage early on here, so let's just see.
Ooh, up the ladder. That's pretty wild, but Starix is going to be able to recover. Nice kill with the Galil. One more is going to be coming. Oh, excuse me. I take it all back. Perfecto with a good little headshot. That was quick, but the outer bomb site appears to have been lost.
There's the bomb plant. So Zeus and Edward left for the 2010 team. Zeus going to pick up Simple, crouch down in that corner, just holding the angle. Again, staying crouched down like that, and it's way more viable than normally. Let's see if they can find a way to actually close out the round. I think Navi 2020 are going to have a hard time retaking this. Don't really have anything, and again, the bomb is not even where they're used to at all. Good stuff for Perfecto. He took a while connecting to the server, but he made that work, and I think he's going to try and escape with a weapon, and there's really nothing else that he can do. Bomb will take down the last 2010 player, but otherwise, yeah, 2 good rounds for them early on here.
Indeed. And man, I just even thought about it as well. These plants, as you mentioned, the bomb site's not where the 2020 roster obviously expects it to be, but when we eventually get to a point where that bomb is planted underneath the train, and again, I'll just go back to the spam. There's like these clutches can be played in such different ways in 1.6 because you can shoot through pretty much every wall in the game. So it could be interesting. I've seen some people in Twitch chat ask if the HLTV server is lagging, if the GoTV server is lagging. It's not. This is just what it looked like for 10 years.
Yeah, this
is how Counter-Strike esports began, with this.
Indeed. Well, they're getting cleaned up right here, Jason. So I want to ask you, by the way, which uniform do you like more, the old school or the new one, Jason?
Oh, I'm not really sure, Anders. That's a tough question.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a lot to go on. I reckon. I think I'm gonna have to go with the old school one. I think they should do like a throwback version kind of thing.
Okay.
Only thing you'd want on one of those are autographs, Jason. And actually, our wonderful sponsor in 1xBet has them. So 15 of them they're giving away over at the website. So go follow them on all the social media. Obviously, thanks a lot for them. You're sponsoring the whole thing. If you use the hashtag #BetOnNavi, and then post a social media picture of you supporting them, then you can go check that out and get a chance to win one of the shirts with the autographs on as well. Yeah, appreciate the sponsor, making it possible for sure. So go give them a little bit of love. And we're not missing. Oh, actually, we may be missing a little bit here. Electronic with a Deagle kill. That's Flamie with an AK-47, taking down Markeloff himself. It's going to be a bit of revenge here. The bomb is down, and they're again a little bit further away. They need to find that bomb right now.
Yeah, I think the bomb's already planted, so Senya's going to spray him down, and I think that's going to be it. No defuse is going to come in. Man, that sound is just so it's so quiet, Anders.
It is quiet. It's really sneaky, isn't it? Do you think anyone would be so bold as to try and do the glitched bomb plant where you plant it inside like a half wall so it makes no sound?
I would love it. The one I can remember is the one on Dust 2 where you can plant an elevator. Man, I mean, it's a shame we're not playing Mill, we're playing Tuscan, but on Mill you could boost people up through the floor in the sewers into the A bomb site. Like, we don't have rules on that anymore. That would be an awesome thing to have happen. Yeah,
we don't even have admins that know about these glitches anymore, so you could really abuse it. It's great.
Well, this one has this map has the flashbang bug over towards Ivy, right? You can throw. Did they fix that towards the end? They might have fixed the train one.
I don't know if they did. Vendetta will know for sure. He'll say it in a second here.
What a dweeb.
I know he's. I don't know. I love it. I think it's amazing.
When he
It's
started
really-
talking about like 2009 and like an IRC like server going down, and that's what that was way too sweaty for me.
Yeah, I actually, to my horror, I actually still remember how to connect to IRC, like with the QuakeNet and the port numbers and all the rest of it. I was like, oh dear, why is this what I remembered? Like any calculus that I would have learned, I've just forgotten, but still know how ISD works. Great, thanks, brain.
Oh, here we go. Inner hit, Perfecto, playing it way back. And this is where very much playing it like it's 1.6. Simple's got the op, so fair play. That's going to do some work. Oh, and he gets out into the open. Another one. Nope, just barely missing. There it is. That's on to Zeus as he goes down, and the retake begins. And Simple, he's looking like a bit of a veteran even in this game. He's got all the lineups ready to go, and there's going to be the first round on the board for NAVI 2010.
Yeah, even though the score is glitched up on top, as you could tell, it's got the numbers. Don't worry about it, guys. It's part of the experience, and the fact that the bomb as well looks like Play-Doh is also part of the experience. So you got it all going on. Don't worry, guys. So yeah, it is actually 4-1 in the favor of the 2010 lineup at the moment. Don't get confused. Don't get it twisted. I'm excited for this. I think we're off to a hot start. There's Starix. He's actually a very cool guy. Obviously part of that legendary lineup, which is why he's playing here. But someone who does a lot of thinking about the game. I thought when someone suggested, oh, he's going to stop playing actively and become a coach, I was like, I don't know. I don't know what Starix is like thinking about the game. But I think that was a really good choice on his part.
Oh yeah, by the way, if we're spectating someone who gets flashbanged and blinded, we can't tell. It will not show up. It will not register as a flashbang. You're just going to see them jumping around like little chickens with their head cut off. That's a CT. It's not as cool as I initially thought it was going to be. But here we are, Senya, getting spammed. I think that was spam coming through. Either way, another nade coming in.
Yeah, I reckon it was.
That's a common old school defense. On the other side of that wall can be a defender that can just spam through with impunity down the length of Ivy, do a lot of damage as well.
Yeah, you really don't want to be in the wrong position there. Still got plenty of time. Oh, and look at Boomich. He's found himself up at the sniper spot, which, not a thing anymore in the same way, at least. Electronic. Actually, it'll be Flamie to pick up the kill on Zeus there, and they still have a couple of people down here, I think hiding close by. We'll see if they're going to be able to do anything. They're running out of time slowly. This looks like a much better defense. Looks like the 2020 lineup has finally found a way to make this work.
Yeah, we have to remember, I mean, as well, this 2020 lineup has still been playing CSGO, obviously probably playing Valorant. They have been playing a lot of FPS games over the past, 3-5 years. Some of these 2010 players probably haven't been touching the games as much as they used to, more streaming, more coaching, more, just straight up not playing. So I think the muscle memory for shooting isn't quite going to be there for the boomers.
No, that would be weird, wouldn't it? Again, like I imagine 10, 15 rounds in, like first half down, you start to feel like, all right, I kind of get it. Like I'm starting to at least understand a little bit of what's going on here, but still could be early days. Good round though from the CT side. We appreciate it. Oh, a little bit of a run in there at the brown holes. They're going to start to make their way back. Grenade though, and there's no hiding behind any boxes. The damage goes right through, so you might as well just face it. 3-on-3 and a lot of damage on Markeloff and Starix here, and Boomich just not even giving them a chance, just running right through. That is a high-powered round. Yeah,
that's very, very nice from Boomich. Someone should be teaching Perfecto the spam to ladder room from the inner bomb site. That'd be really cool if he could figure that one out. That was a huge tool to this map early on.
Classic, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It's going to be a weird little trip for us as commentators and viewers seeing grenades that actually work. I think that's going to be a special treat.
Yeah, and there's no X-ray as well on the spectator. People are confused about that. Like they're saying, turn X-ray on. There's no such thing, guys. We just, you have to try and look at the map, and you have to put in some work to watch this in a reasonable map,
Also, shout out to our observers who will have to deal with this for the next 3 maps, but you can't just switch players by pressing number keys the way you do in CSGO. You have to manually click through all the different players and cycle through both teams to get to the position you want to be in. Simple is starting to warm up with this op here in 1.6, which is cool to see.
Yeah, I think Perfecto had one as well, and he got a kill early on, so that's encouraging. I don't know. I think the bomb is down, and Senya hiding underneath. Oh, they're going to jump on top of him. That's great. but not going to be quite enough here. They're on the bomb defuse, and I think that means they're going to tie it all up. So, Jason, what do you think helps the guys play so well besides their skill?
I don't know. I think the secret to success is probably in their PC and their devices. You know, our partner 1xBet understands this as well. So the guys on their website have organized a contest of predictions where they're going to give away a really, really powerful gaming PC and a lot of gaming devices. So if you go to the 1xBet website, you can find out the details and you can try and take the main prize. Appreciate that, Jason. I really do. See how this continues here in the 9th round. It's Electronic going down, but look at Flamie and Simple. Wide in the return. It's Simple with that AWP, and he's taking down Starix. I'm looking at Markeloff, and I'm not seeing that counter AWP, and I'm going to file a letter of complaint soon. I'm going to need Markeloff to pick that up. Oh, he's done a good job, though, getting the one kill. I think he could have had that one, but Zeus took it away from him. And just like that, the Boomers are back in a lead, at least in this round for now. Look at these clunky grenades. They are the size of coconuts. Simple coming out of CTCon. And there's a little crouch boost to see over the box to see if you can gather information before committing. And all 3 players for NAVI 2010 are on the backside of the bomb train. So the bomb is being planted now. It's just gone down. 35 seconds to find the defuse. And there's some low HP players, but now that they've infested all those backlines, the retake is going to be near impossible. And this is where your internal clock, remember I said it's a 35-second bomb timer, so it's going to have to be much faster than what NAVI 2020 is used to. Yeah, and they're going to, again, I think it's planted underneath, right? So they're going to have to like crouch slowly as they go in. Like, it just feels really awkward. Nice kill from Zeus, taking down Simple. And just like that, Perfecto in a 1 versus 2. And you could tell he's just so far away from the target. He's going to make a run for it. Not even worth it. That's going to be another round for the 2010 lineup. But again, the scores are reversed. But yeah, they're leading 1 round at the moment on the T side of train. Back in the day, this would have been already, people would have been tearing their hair out. They would have had to get 5 rounds on the T side of train. Madness. Yeah, this is it's atrocious. If you use the standards of 2009, 10, 2005.
Yeah. Something like that. So a bygone age, really, in many ways.
Yep, older times. Nice kill from Zeus as Boomich gets aggressive. Trying to do the whole CSGO look upward. A little tag as they come out of the ladder room. Flamie's up top. He gets one. Perfecto is able to find Edward as well. And Flamie can now just kind of relax up there. Tuck himself into the corner and stay alive. An odd fight down towards Pop Dog. And Flamie's taking some damage. And he'll eventually get the kill. Zeus could never finish him off.
Many people, you wonder, have just heard the name Pop Dog and accepted that is the name, but now they're seeing that logo of the dog out there for the first time.
Not just the logo, but doesn't it bark when you crawl under the train?
Oh, yeah.
When you crawl under that Pop Dog. So these maps used to have so many sound cues that would give you information as well. I think it's as soon as someone steps on top of a train, I think you hear lightning. Is it? Or is it? Yeah, I think it's lightning that strikes.
You go down by Ivy.
You hear the thunder.
Yeah, Ivy, there's a 747 or something flying over. You remember that like aircraft
when you
sound?
Cross a certain point out towards Ivy, if you crawl underneath the Pop Dog by ladder room, a dog actually barks in the background as well.
Because I was doing map editing, I actually went and looked for all the different triggers in the maps. Because you can open the maps in the map editor and you can see exactly where they happen. So I was really being a mega nerd on that front. Like, let's find out exactly where we have to step to trigger this thing. They're back on pistols, except for Simple, who has an AWP, as far as I can tell. My eyes deceive him. He does have one. Okay. Hero AWP in 1.6.
It's bold strategy, Anders. We'll see if it works out for him.
It is simple, but do the powers translate? Is it... you do wonder about that, don't you? Like, what if Simple is also going to be good in 1.6? Like, that's just unreasonable, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that he would be. It's not like your skills completely go away. It's more, used to the style and the mechanics of the weapons. That would be my biggest question. He's got a pick here onto Edward. Equally, Navi 2020 has lost Flamie. So the Zoomers down a man as well. And here's your boy. I'll let you take this away, Anders. Markeloff with the AWP.
He does have one, and he's being boosted, I believe. Ooh, actually, Senia going down. That was a nice kill for Boomich. Now things are getting a little bit tricky here. They're actually a man down. Electronic gets dropped by Starix, though. And look at Zeus. He's just sneaking around back here. All the attention is out on the yard right now. So he managed to get all the way back here, and he's found his kill. That's simple with the AWP gone. And, oh, look at that. Zeus, what a nice follow-up with the AK-47. And now it's just all down with Perfecto. He's trying to see if he can hunt down Markeloff. He's got that AWP somewhere behind that train, just trying to stay hidden. But I think they got him pinned down by the E-box, and they're doing their best to try and find him. He has really no way out, and now they're coming up at the high ground as well. There's the find. Zeus with the triple. Great round out of him.
Man, your boy dropped that AWP so quick, Anders, in that little 1v1 battle. He
was out.
He hit the eject button very, very quick. That can't bode well for your happiness today during these maps.
He's gotta pick it back up. He's like you know, that lost Jedi in one of those newer movies, right? Like you've gotta get back in training. Like it's his destiny. Can't avoid it forever.
You didn't see the new Star Wars movies, did you?
I can't. I forgot. I did. Listen. I watched The Mandalorian and I loved it, Jason. So I'll give you that. It was good. Look at Markeloff though. There he is with the AWP, taking down Perfecto. It's Edward as well. He's finally gonna get taken down by Simple. So that's a nice kill for Simple to have on top, shutting down Markeloff. But that was still too much to handle. Zeus sneaking in on top. Isn't it wonderful how all of the proportions are just so weird in this as well? I mean, by global offensive standards.
Way, way bigger, which is cool. Obviously, the choke points. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird having to get used to it again.
It is. I mean, I don't think about it anymore, but at the beginning when Global Offensive came out, like, it did feel very confined. I mean, some of the maps were even worse. I mean, Inferno, I think, had way narrower hallways at the beginning than it does in the current modern version of Global Offensive anyway, so there's that to think about. Still, we're looking at an 8-4 scoreline favoring the... Is the score correct now? I feel like it must be.
It is correct now. It was not correct earlier. It was throwing me off for a loop as well. But, yeah. Quite the run on the T side for the Boomers. There's Flamie with a good start. Deagle headshot onto Starix. And a missed opportunity for your boy to even things up.
Ooh. That's a pretty good flick, though. Boomich making it work. What version would we have to go back to, Jason, before you don't have the black outline around the scope?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think that had to have been like 1.4 or 1.3, I think. I think that came in 1.5.
Something like that, yeah. I'm sure, again, Vendetta will tell us in the chat in a second. But there was definitely a time when that was a thing.
Yeah, there certainly was. This has gotten into a crazy little position here. The NAVI 2020 about to upend 2010. A nice round with the Deagles as Flamie got things started. He picked up an AK-47, but they're sitting at a 5-on-2 for the moment. And Senya and Markeloff have no HP. So it's looking like 2020 is going to get up to 5 rounds in the half.
Yeah, and I just noticed Nick in the Twitch chat was saying better graphics than Valorant, and you're goddamn right.
That's just unreasonable, but I'm on board.
That's a claim. Yeah,
I'm on board.
You know, if you gotta be unreasonable, you might as well go the whole way. I appreciate it. So what are they doing here? Just waiting down the time? Don't want to give away the rifles? I guess fair play to them. You know, I think they were discussing this on the desk as well. They were saying, well, you know, are you going to be playing, you know, just for fun? Or like, how are you going to be playing this or to win? And I think right now we're seeing a fairly focused 2010 team at least. Oh, look at the cleanup here at the end. They get everyone.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Yeah, I actually agreed entirely with Pimp. As someone who's played in multiple show matches, you always go in a good mood, ready to have some fun, ready to have a good time. And what generally happens is your opponents take the game way more seriously than you do to start, and then you get frustrated. Then your competitiveness kicks in, and I imagine that's what's going to happen here with the Boomers wanting to relive their glory days. Markeloff has that position towards Pop Dog again. Boomich the opening kill as Markeloff holds and pins down any opposition defense that's up in heaven. There's nobody there. So it's time to creep on top of the train and get a deep peek down towards behind the bomb site. And again, just seeing absolutely nothing until just now. But he missed his chance. He capitalizes as Boomage comes back in.
Yeah, he tried to make that jump. He was thinking, you know, Markeloff, he's going to be slow. He's not going to hit that shot, but he did. Good kill. And things are looking really good at them for them. It could be picking up a 9th round here, a 9-5 lead. If they could find a kill on Flamie right here, and even if not, I think they're going to be just fine. So this is actually shaping up really, really well. Edward's going to find him at the end, and yeah, 9-5 lead. They're almost at the finishing line here. Things have worked out incredibly well.
Yeah, this is going spectacularly. Senya 18-11, Edward 16-9, Zeus 14-9. So the old teammates Edward and Zeus showing off a little bit in 1.6.
Good to see. I mean, I was kind of worried about. I don't know. I mean, I think in Go, obviously the 2020 team can be real powerful, but here, you know, you never knew what could happen. But it's actually turned out really well. Starix and Edward picking up a couple of great kills here, and yeah, they're just down to Deagles. They're actually getting battered right now. They're getting beat up badly.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the final round of the half, so it's invest what you can. Deagles in a desperate situation, and Electronic is going to scoot up and see what he can find as he pushes the upper ramp. Zeus is ready and waiting at the base of box halls, but they might not run into each other. The timing of when Zeus decides to peek. And so 2 players on the defense at Pop Dog. There goes one. The other is Flamie, and he's waiting, I believe. He's pushing currently towards the ladder room, but he gets stuck in a battle underneath the train. It's awkward, but he's found Markeloff.
Oh, yeah, a quick return there for Zeus picking up a kill on Flamie. It'll get Electronic as well. And you said it's almost time, Jason. Well, my prediction, Jason, is almost there. It looks like the gaming computer from our general sponsor, 1xBet, will go to me.
Wait. Why is that? Why is it like that?
Just read the next line, Jason.
I didn't even know that was a prompt. The guys are giving the game computer and a lot of cool prizes on their website. So make your prediction for the match on the site 1xBet and take the main prize for yourselves. Yeah, head to their social medias and you can find the link to get involved in that prediction game for a chance to win a full-blown gaming PC.
Yeah, hashtag bet on NAVI, by the way. But yes, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah.
That's a great first half. I'm sure Vendetta can remember all the games in which anyone ever got 10 rounds on the T side of train in 1.6. That didn't happen a lot. Like,
no.
That'd be game over. So you'd leave your PC. You'd be like, all right, that's fine.
Yeah, it's almost like, do we even have to play the second half? Can we just move on to the next one in the series? What can we do there? So what is it? 9-6 in the favor of the Boomers?
Yeah, I believe so. Well, I'm trying to think of the HLTV scoreboard. I mean, it works for the score overall, but does it work for the individual kills? Can we see that? Because that's another thing, right? Like normally we'd be in the game when we're casting it so that we could check, scores and stuff like that. But I haven't seen a scoreboard for a while, or maybe I just missed it.
It's shut up once in a while. Yeah, I mean, we saw earlier it was Senya leading the way. Edward and Zeus were kind of up there as well, just a few rounds back. I don't know. This will be the real test. Is Navi 2010 over on the T side now?
Yes, they are. And with such a powerful lead, you have to assume that they're going to be able to pull it through. Just need 6 rounds here, and especially if they could win the pistol, which, again, the pistols are worse, but someone's going to come up with it here. USP with no silencer on. I mean, even that's a little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, you can put it on though. There's the option.
And
no one ever did it except when you're playing USP Ninjas, which is oddly enough also a phenomenal map. Edward with the opening kill. He's going to be up top, and he's got so much safety. He finds one more, and he can just remember he can delay up here. He doesn't necessarily have to fight, and he's going to go for it anyways. Oh, he made the drop.
Yeah, he did. And
what a god! Drop down onto the ladder like Batman.
Well, he's the only one left, so he's going to have to try and save Gotham right here. It's a 1-on-2 for him. They're going to go hit the bomb down right now. Flamie's low on health. Edward, I think he's already got 2 kills in this round, and now he's on the site looking for the headshot. He's seen at least one player. That's going to be Flamie going down, and now Perfecto's up next. And look at the jump across. Yeah, he's trying to use those ladders as much as he can. Gonna just get close to the bomb. All right, underneath it, it's Edward to pick it up. The Pistol Master is back.
What a great clutch from Edward. Yeah, and he's laughing it off as well. Known for his fine pistol work and obviously a spectacular clutch here against Perfecto, who probably has never even watched a game of 1.6 in his life. But we'll take those. We'll take those all day long.
How would he have done that? Like, it would have to be like, you know, an older brother of his or something that had like a VHS tape with like old 1.6, you know, games that he'd recorded. Something like
Yeah, that would have to be it. It'd be like that whole like
old grainy
Jason
tape.
Lake thing where it's like, sit down, child. Let me tell you a story.
Let me show you where we came from. Well, this is looking like a really good start. Markeloff with the AWP to take down Boomich. Now opening on the CT side, actually missing a bit of a chance there. They're behind the E-box, so he's got to be a little bit careful. Seeing him missing at least another shot there, but the flick out, that looked like it was on him. It's going to be Flamie instead, back in style, 2 big kills.
Oh, there's Edward again, though. And there's that beautiful Famas back into action. Good headshot deep onto Flamie. Perfecto has found his way into CT connector Z-Halls, which might be a little bit difficult to deal with. He's got Edward in front, and another kill for him. It's just electronic, and he's got a Glock. That's it. And surely this is not a winning battle.
Just doesn't feel like it, does it? There's the win for the CT side, and things are shaping up incredibly well at the moment. Yeah, that from us was him. I couldn't hear if it was the burst fire or not, so I want to know.
Yeah, I couldn't hear that either. Well, I mean, burst fire for the Glock or the FAMAS would have been great. Would have been fantastic.
How do we get that back? I mean, that's just become like a meme kind of thing whenever you do it now. I don't think anyone even does it for the memes with the FAMAS anymore.
It's not worth it for the memes. There's no redeeming quality in CSGO for the burst fire FAMAS. Or Glock, for that matter. Good opening kill from Zeus. Op shot to the brain of Electronic. Oh, and the response from the AK is brutal. But now both ops are here on the defensive side, and they're doing work.
Ooh, Markeloff, that's a nice little run in there with the AWP. I do believe cancelling out his movement as well by just strafing once to the other side. That was, you know, also obviously important. That's like I guess that was like the first skill to learn in 1.6, wasn't it, when you had to do AWPing? Oh, another thing that people started doing this a little bit more, right? But if you had to take an angle with the AWP in 1.6, actually jumping into the angle to shoot was like a pretty reasonable strategy. Whereas if you do it in CSGO for a long time, I mean, people started doing it a little bit more, especially run boosting and stuff like that, I guess. But you could actually jump into a fight in this version of Counter-Strike. So.
Did you ever, Anders, you strike me as the kind of little rat that would use the use key method of stopping when you had to shoot. You remember that back in the day? When the use key would stop your momentum. So you'd hear people strafing, hit the use key, and then it would stop them immediately so they could shoot accurately. But you'd always hear the little click of the use key being activated to know that someone was the asshole.
Yeah. No, I don't think I ever perfected that. I think I've become more of an asshole over the years, Jason. So like if I could turn back time, I'm sure I would. But back then I was probably trying to play more honorably, just trying to
squeaky clean.
Yeah. This is what, a 13-5 lead right now for the Boomers against the Zoomers. So
and Senya's got a huge flank coming in. He's come all the way from T mid right up towards ladder. He's got 2. He mows him down. It's going to be just a couple players, Perfecto and Flamie, on 3.
It's worked out so well. That flank was so worth it. 2 kills, shutting them down, and now I don't even know where they go at this point in time. Flamie and Perfecto messing around on the ladder now for a minute here. Let's go, Flamie. Jump down. You know you want to.
Nope, he wants to bait. Waiting for Perfecto to lead the way. These are the angles with the trains that could be so difficult to deal with. That one as well. That's one of those spots where it's very dark also, so that goes to the brightness that Vendetta was talking in the pregame. If you don't have it turned up, there's no way you see Zeus. He's got such an advantage. And now Flamie can't get the shot off, and it's 14-5 here on train.
Gotta say, that's where you need power strip, isn't it? Get that gamma all the way up there. It's so amazing that used to be like a prerequisite for even playing some maps.
Yeah, really. I mean, I don't know. I still remember when, man, I'm way too old, but I still remember when, what is it called? Digital Vibrance was like the discovery of the day.
Oh, yeah.
To turn that up. And that revolutionized the way you can actually play 1.6.
It's crazy to imagine, isn't it? It's been just a hot minute. Here we go. Rushing out Ivy. Ooh, Senia, that was a swing and a spray, but didn't really connect. Boomich there to take him down instead. They are fighting for their lives right now on the 2020 side, and it's not looking that great. I mean, this round might be good. Markeloff missing a chance, and Electronic won't have another one, so I think Simple with a couple of kills in this one too. That's the first time they're gonna have a round here in the second half at all.
Well, they're still smiling, so that's a positive. They're still in a good mood. But yeah, first run on the board for that second half. They've got a long way to go, and I think this CT side is where the Boomers are going to look exceptionally strong. Just 2 rounds away from taking this first half of the show match. Flamie's going to lead his way out and promptly run right back in.
Yeah, just down to piss. A lot of Deagles. I'm seeing 3 Deagles in play there on the CT side, so they could do something. I don't know if they still have it in their hands. I don't know if it's quite like riding a bicycle, but there were some really, really good Deagle players even back in 1.6, obviously. Senia gonna go down with the USP. Second map, by the way, obviously is gonna be Inferno. Still in 1.6, so I look forward to that as well.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a thing of beauty as well. This is a little bit of a turkey shoot. Nothing really that the CTs can fight back with, so Flamie just staying at range and using that AK very well. Perfecto as well with the M4 dropping Markeloff. Now Flamie's going to get a little bit closer. And there is just one player right behind the wall, but this is going to be a round for NAVI 2020.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it here. The Eagles didn't really come through. See, Zeus has stolen an AWP and he's going to try and make his escape here. But again, this is where you go test those wall bangs. Simple. You can all those walls shoot right through. There's no problem. Just pretend they're not even there, and maybe you could find them.
They're looking. They're hunting. Zeus is trying to save this AWP. He's going to hear one coming from behind. Yeah, missed a shot, trying to survive a little bit longer. He needs to wait, and he's going to get out of danger, just barely. Nice job.
You know what I haven't seen yet? Maybe I haven't been paying enough attention, but I haven't. Oh, this Edward, is he 14-2? All right.
Yeah, in the second half though. In the first half, I think he had something like 16 kills as well. It's 17 kills, so he's living the dream right now.
I need to see one of those really stylish headshot deaths where the head just tilts all the way back. Like that's something I'm missing.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get one of those. At the moment, Zeus, I don't think realizes fully that the inner bomb set has been lost or how close Perfecto is to turning the corner on him through that smoke. He might even be under the train. Starix is in a huge fight. There goes Zeus to Boomich, and Starix has to turn. He's got a second. A nice double kill, and the retake is on.
That was some good communication because they lost Zeus over there. So heads up play for Starix. So the Perfecto's going to be pushed up really far. And I don't know if they can retake this. Nice job on Perfecto. He's so solid here. Markeloff with a kill, though. Still a 2-on-2, but they're running out of time already. And I think they've realized by now, yeah, that bomb timer is just not what they're used to. Senia will go down, and maybe somewhat needlessly. They'd already evacuated. Oh, the bomb will take them with. That's a lot more radius than in CSGO, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot more powerful at the short radius as well than they're used to. So yeah, they're thinking they're going to get away. Maybe also assuming they had a little bit more time due to that 35-second timer. But regardless, another good win for NAVI 2020 as they're trying to claw back into this game. It's now 14-8 and a 3-round run for the Zoomers.
Senia goes down. It's another good start here. Things are they're looking up right now. They just need 2 more rounds. You think that's should be easy? Oh, and a good kill. That's Markeloff with that saved AWP. And also Zeus with the pistol. Starix to follow it up, taking down Flamie. Leaves Electronic and Simple left here. And suddenly it's turned. Oh dear, what's happened?
I don't know. It's put us in a perfect position for Simple to bust out some magic in 1.6. 1 versus 3 clutch. He's on top of the train. He's got the first. That's Markeloff who jumped up into the air. And he's got the defense in an awkward position as well now. He has the whole map, and Edward is scrambling to get back to that inner bomb site to be able to hold off this play. But with that AWP, one mistake from Edward, and he can go down very quickly. And Simple still has not been spotted yet. 1 minute to work with in this 1 versus 2. And he's seen Edward. There's the shot, and there's the kill. And he's doing it in the older version as well.
Oh, wow. I thought maybe Edward would have tried to just wait until he went for the bomb plant there, but I guess he didn't even know where Simple was. Gonna throw up a smoke to try and buy a little bit more space as the bomb has been planted already. And Simple now hiding under the trains. That's an old school move that maybe most people feel uncomfortable about today. You see on the other side, Starix sneaking through with the AK. He's got one chance here, Simple, and he's gonna get it, no problem. Yeah, this is it's wild to see, but I don't know how many people would have thought you would have seen Simple play 1.6 at all ever. Here we are.
Yeah. I just can't believe we just saw him win that 1 versus 3 clutch. That's not bad at all. Maybe a little bit rusty for Navi 2010. That was a save round as well. That was Markeloff with an AWP, everyone else with pistol. So the fact they almost won it is pretty cool. But obviously sucks that they lose it out in the end. Nice job from Simple. And now a double op setup. Zeus and Markeloff to have those in the CT set. M4s in hand for the other 3.
Nice pickoff from Starix. He's been actually pretty solid here. Oh,
Stop.
we got that. Look at that zoom.
Flamie.
Look at that zoom. What is he doing? Why is he bought the gun at all?
This isn't like CSGO. It's not like this
No.
gun was hiddenly like a hidden gem, like magic, and nobody knew it. The gun is not great.
He's just exposed himself as an absolute zoomer, hasn't he?
And he got what he deserved, Anders, at the end of the day. Senya shutting down him and Simple. This will be round number 15 on the board for Navi 2010. There goes Electronic.
I hope one of them is going to try and buy like a 5.7 or something as well. Because that gun was trash in 1.6.
What was it? It was the P228, the SIG P228. That pistol
SIG?
wasn't bad. That wasn't bad at all.
Did some work, I agree. But the 5.7 even sounded like a plastic gun, didn't it? Like the sound of it was just so weird. Couldn't take it seriously. Ooh, a little bit of action. It's going to be Edward though. Picking up Electronic is to try to make his way out. Edward cleaning up another kill. And this is looking a little bit good at the moment here. 3 on 3. Simple with the AWP though. You got to worry about that. He's taken down Markeloff already.
1 versus 1 for the map. Oh wait, no, I'm on a completely different view. That's my bad. I looked at the Twitch stream. Perfecto in a 1 versus 2. Not yet. Starix still alive with 3 HP. But we've got a chance to maybe make me feel less silly. And Senya just waiting at the top of the ladder. He's got a teammate outside as well. So Perfecto making noise, and I think Starix should have this. And I think that's going to be it, isn't it? 16 to 9 being the scoreline. So nice victory for the Boomers on Train.
Who would have thought? That is very cool, isn't it? Starix actually kind of surprising me. Edward, I guess, you mentioned him as being, your guy to watch. I think that was a good pick right now. He's been doing real well in this first map. But that was just Train. We've still got Inferno. We've still got Tuscan coming up. We've got a lot of Counter-Strike. And
Then we got CSGO. Yeah, I was gonna say we got 3 more maps in CSGO coming as well.
Absolutely. So don't go too far away. It's gonna be exciting. I don't know. This wasn't what I was expecting. It was cool to see Simple play with the AWP, but I might have been short selling a little bit the 1.6 boys. We do have more coming up, so don't worry about it. What do you think so far? How are you enjoying it?
I'm not gonna lie. It took me a little bit to get used to the old ways to view 1.6. It was a little bit haggard there for a moment, but we got it done. I liked it. I thought it was great. I think Infernos is going to be a little bit easier to swallow for the new guys, considering how different Train is. But either way, that's enough from us. We've done a lot of talking for that map. We're going to send it to the boys in the desk, Trace and Pimp and Vendetta. So take it away.